Hello and welcome to the Pixelated Realms Gamescast, your guide through the digital landscape, untangling the mysteries of your favorite titles and discussing the latest and greatest in video game fun. I'm your host, Alex Salerno, and alongside me is my brother Tyler and my good friend Dustin. What is
Hello.
up, guys?
But Tyler, do you have a holiday sweater on?
I do. I do have a holiday sweater on.
Nice,
Oh, what is it?
nice.
Oh,
It
it's
says
you
actually
can only
it
see
just
like
shows
the
like a
top.
thing of whiskey. Yeah. It doesn't really
Nice.
say anything, but yeah, I was cold and this was what I had handy.
Fair.
That's what
fair.
happens when it's cold. We put on
Yeah.
warm sweaters. Well, cool. Well,
Absolutely fair.
today we're going to be talking about, our usual what we've been playing, but we're also going to talk about GTA 6 possibly coming out more than $70. We don't know an actual price point, but,
Mystery.
how is that going to change everything for us? And then, we want to do a little housekeeping. We want to say a big thank you to those who subscribe to us on Patreon. Without your support and engagement, this episode wouldn't be possible. And if you're not subscribed, you can follow us at pixelatedrealms.org/Patreon. So, what have you guys been playing?
Oh my
I
god,
know
what
you
have
guys
I
have
been
been playing
playing?
stuff.
I've been playing, I've been playing Warhammer Dawn of War 2. That's like the RTS Warhammer game from like the 2000s. Honestly, it's pretty damn good. It's not StarCraft, but like it's unique, and like it's more like you're not doing as much base building as you are in StarCraft, but like it's still very fun because you get to like have a whole bunch of Space Marine squads and running around killing orcs and Eldar and stuff. I don't know. As everyone on this channel knows, I love Warhammer, so this was a game I've been trying to play a little bit, and yeah, it's really good.
Are you
Cool.
a Civ
Have you-
guy? I feel like you'd be playing the new
So
Civ.
okay, so
I was gonna ask that too.
we'll want to talk about it. I just like one, the since the so Civ 7 came out, obviously for all of our listeners, Civ 7 came out today, I think, for non-early access. I think like today, tomorrow for
Really recently.
yeah, no, it was like I think it was early access this weekend. And honestly, I want to buy it, and I will, but it's came out to pretty tepid reviews so far. So I'm like many civs, so I'm okay waiting a little bit. But also, yeah, we just moved, so I don't have a ton of spare money for a $70 game right now.
Fair.
Does what does Civilization usually like come in at ratings wise? Do you know?
What do you mean? Like, is it
Like, are
usually?
they-
Yeah, they
I-
usually get
like-
like 8 out of 10, like not
Okay,
9 out
yeah.
of 10. Yeah. But
And this
it's
one's 'cause-
consistently not as well received on release. Like I think Civ
Mm.
6 was the same, Civ 5, if I remember, was pretty much the same. And then they add like a DLC or two, and then it becomes real good.
people will like their goodies.
And
Let's
well,
see,
it's
Civ
just like
5
they
was a
tune the
90.
game usually.
Like Civ 5 was a 90, Civ 6 was an 88, and Civ 7 is an 81. So 81's still solid, but it's not an 88 or a 90.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on surprisingly on Steam, and I take this with a grain of salt. Civ 7 has mixed reviews at the moment, but it looks gorgeous.
I mean, it just
looks
takes
really
some
good.
time to like tune these games. Like they just make updates, add a few features that they're still tuning. Like it's just the kind of game that it's better to dive really
Right.
deep, like a month or two in. Yeah.
Right. I see. Yeah, Metacritic 81. A lot of places did give it like a 5 out of 5 or 9 out of 10 or something. So
Well,
this is one of those.
76 reviews, right? So it's probably pretty polarizing.
Yeah, it's one of those games too that like it is very. It's like it's a specific niche. So like the people who like it like really like it, and then there's like a group of people who are like completely anti that kind of a game. I kind of sit in the
Yeah.
middle. Like I couldn't carry their weight, but so
Well,
it's
the
like we
4X
gotta wait.
genre is like its own thing, right? It's a long form
Yeah.
video game. Like
Yeah.
it's like playing, it literally is a board game, right? It's just there is a
Yeah.
Civ board game that so you have to be willing to like dedicate the time and patience to sit there and read and like enjoy the long term growth instead of like immediate satisfaction. So it's definitely
Right. It's like a slow game.
it's a slow burn game for sure.
Yeah, this is probably one I'll pick up when it's like on sale or something in a year. Definitely not like a day one, but because I've played all the Civs, but I was never like a big Civ person. I was one who was like, when you have like an opportunity and you're kind of like, you know what, let's do it. And I'll play like a couple of like games that are like 2 hours or more long. And then you're like, all right, I did my time. I thought that was fun, but I'm not about to dive into the like details and like learn the economic strategies or the, whatever. I was just kind of doing like a quick
Well, you
thing in
really
it.
gotta you have to play a game from start to finish. That's the first
Mhm.
journey in the game. Because once you do that, you learn a lot about the game. And then you want to try to win your first game. And then it kind of progresses from there. And then you're like, oh, maybe I'll try to win with different leaders and different, So
Yeah.
it is a fun game. And there is modes. There is modes that lessen the time frame of the game. Although I don't necessarily recommend it because sometimes you want
Yeah.
you don't want it to go too fast because it throws off the balance of how characters move and interact, or just how the game feels in general. But yeah, no, we'll definitely pick it up. We'll definitely talk about it more. Haven't had time quite yet because we're been busy.
Makes sense. Yeah, I've been all in on Delta Force. Played
Hell
this game a
yeah.
few times with Alex, and then
I keep seeing you on.
yeah, dude. I've put
I wish I had more time to
55
play.
hours in a couple of weeks. So, yeah, it's been fun. I've just been playing a lot of solo queue, ranked solo or easy easy solo, just trying to loot and honestly trying to learn the gun mechanics so I'm not getting fucking hard carried so much. But also I think figuring out really learning the maps and where the loot is and places to be able to post up, and trying to actually even pass some Counter-Strike wisdom onto Alex and Ralph, because I'm one thing I notice we do when we play is and this happened, we were playing with Ralph's buddy Goof too, and we chase a little bit too much after we down someone instead of just downing a guy and then each of us just posting up on a corner and just being making them come to us because they want to try to save their buddy. We give away our advantage too often, and so
we get eager. Certainly.
Yeah, so it's funny because my attitude has completely changed. At first, I was like, "Let's just go hunt people down and try to fucking get kills. Who cares if we die?"
I was about to say, because you were telling me I didn't play aggressive enough.
Yeah,
and I'm like, hold on, we need to wait. We need to wait. Now you're like, now we need to wait.
I'm still aggressive, but I'm also want to try to play more strategically in the way that we try to win games, because yeah, there have been multiple games we've been playing where we'll down the first guy, we'll kill him, and then we chase, and it allows them to circle back and res their buddy and then give away our advantage, and then we're back in the 3v3 and we lose, and it's fuck, we had this, we had the advantage here. So yeah, that's been my big takeaways. Okay, just trying to be a little bit smarter. I've also been trying to leverage some really unique hiding spots. When you're an admin, you can go in that garage area, and I actually figured out that you can basically climb the rafters right above the door, the garage door that opens, and nobody expects that shit, dude. So when I'm solo queue and I can hear people running around out there, I will climb up there and just bait people. I'll rat it up in that corner, and no one looks up there, so it's a free
you're not
kill.
Really supposed to be up there,
yeah. So it's funny, the game I played right now with Ralph, we got ratted. We were in cement and there was a safe in the office, and we ran in there and a guy was hiding in the corner, just behind the door, and wasted us. And I was like, fuck, that sucks, because that guy was just ratting in the corner. But I told Ralph, I was like, I respect it though. Solo queue, you hear people out there, you're in the room where the safe is, they're gonna come here and try to get it. That's your only shot. You're not gonna go head to head 2v1. It's you need to get the first person down and then try to 1v1 the second person, Yeah. And so it's a different way to play, and it's the way to play if you're going to play solo and you're actually going to try to kill people. You can't just go engage teams 2v1 or 3v1. You're never going to win those fights unless you're just fucking God mode playing, if you're Shroud, playing in fucking easy mode, just destroying people with your aim, But no, it's been fun. I've got a lot more addicted to it. Upgrading my black side and getting the crate. So yeah, hopefully we'll have time to play a game tonight after this.
Yeah, I know. I remember trying to convince you to play that game, or not too long ago. So glad you're into it, because I wanna play a lot more too.
Yeah,
I
and
just
it's
haven't had a lot
free,
of time.
so it's awesome.
It's free easy.
Although,
Yeah.
definitely recommend getting the season pass. It's like, I think it's more than $5. I think it's like around $7. But like the game is free, so and you get a lot of perks from it. So, I don't mind doing like $7 every quarter. So I think it's like or every 2
pretty
months,
fair.
something like that. Money well spent.
I don't find battle
Yeah.
passes as offensive if the game is free. That is certainly.
Yeah,
That's
well,
fair
I mean,
enough.
like we've talked about this with like Destiny. Like that's the
Yeah.
biggest issue with Destiny is they have a season pass, they do expansions, and they have Eververse. So it's like they have all three monetary like mechanics
It's just
in
getting
the game.
greedy, dude. And it's
Yeah,
not
it's just
even like you
insane.
have that much content.
Like if you're gonna do expansions,
Yeah.
then everything should be free. If you're gonna do free, then cool, charge for cosmetics and a season pass. Like, but don't do both. Like you're just a
I
fucking
guess
asshole.
WoW quadruple dips too. It's just
Yeah,
like
wow. WoW does even
subscription,
more.
expansions, all the cosmetics in game, all the transfers and name changes and server changes.
Battle
and all-
pass.
Yeah, but it's
There's
still
no
though like
battle pass.
it's
though.
just all
Season pass.
cosmetics with like yeah, there's no season pass, and they do allow you to, if you earning gold, which you can
Yeah,
earn
you
gold
can
pretty
transfer
easily. You can
Mhm.
use the gold to buy like instead of paying the subscription, you can pay with gold.
That's
You buy a
right,
token.
kids. If you play enough World of Warcraft, you too can make money.
No. God.
I don't know,
That
make
was like
money,
when
but you don't
Diablo
have
had
to
a
spend
real
money.
money marketplace. That was the worst fucking idea they ever had. Where you could sell
I mean, it shut
items
down
from
in like
Diablo
a
for
couple
real
days.
money.
It was like a couple days.
It lasted a while, but it was like 3 or 4 months. But yeah, they did shut it down.
they shut it down. Like,
No.
I just remember it going horribly awry.
No, it did go horribly awry, but it lasted a lot more. It might have even lasted a whole year, honestly, but it was not. It was not days.
Way.
Yeah,
Okay,
look it
I'm
up.
good.
It was definitely not days because I
I will.
remember it being there for a long time. I'm waiting for your answer.
I didn't.
Auction
Google
house
this.
service was discontinued on March 18th, 14. Is that
So
what
when the
this
game
is? The
come
auction
out.
house thing? Was that available at launch?
Well, there's the real money auction house, which is different because they had. I don't know if they just made it a normal auction house afterwards or not. I can't remember. It's been a while.
I don't think they did. I don't think they did.
They just killed the whole thing.
Yeah.
I remember people are like, the best item, here it is, $900 or something,
Of
It's
course.
like, Jesus Christ.
They're like, might as well just do sanctioned like buying of things with real money.
It totally defeats the purpose of the game. It becomes that, like, gotcha game, Skinner box
It's
kind
worse than
of
that. Yeah.
nonsense.
Well, this thing
So
came out on
literally.
9/18/2013, and it shut down March 18th,
Oh.
2014. So,
So, what, 4, 5, 7 months?
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was a while. I can't believe they thought that was going to be a good idea, but they did.
It doesn't even sound like from when I read that they shut it down because people were like, so that they shut it down because it was undermining the in-game economy.
Yeah.
So
But
it's
people
a
also
classic
didn't like
case
it.
of like trying to have a cool feature in there to like help people out that then gets like taken advantage of by a select amount of people that ruins it for everyone.
Yeah. It was awful. It was awful. Yeah. Delta Force hopefully doesn't have that problem. I know you can only pick like 2 monetization out of the 3 that are available right now.
Don't get
Only
me
pick
to take
2.
them all.
You can't have all of them because then you're just a greedy fuck.
Yeah, it's all bad.
I've been playing Silent Hill 2. I've been working on my
Mhm.
review, and I was telling Tyler before you got here, my review is I have 5 chapters that I've outlined. I've only finished the intro and 1 chapter, and I'm at 16 pages. Over
like 16 actual like double spaced
Yeah,
or
Space.
single.
they're double spaced pages, yeah.
What are
and
you
they're
planning on
double
doing with the copy? Are
reading
you gonna
it.
like post it?
It's a
on-
voiceover. It's like a voiceover. Oh, I'm gonna
Are you
post it. I'm gonna post it on
light
Patreon.
a fire and
No, I'm also making the video while I do all this. I'm making like testing little bits of it out and stuff like that.
Okay, you
as
gotta
I'm
know
editing.
that you're doing this just for yourself, though, right? Like
Yes.
no one's watching that whole fucking video. Like it shouldn't
Yeah,
be
dude,
more than
there's
it
a
shouldn't be
whole-
more than 20 minutes.
No. This is not that type
let
of
us
video.
know
This
in
is
the
a-
comments below.
There,
Do
no,
you
no,
guys want to
there-
watch Alex's 3-hour fucking review
It'll
of
probably
Silent
be
Hill?
2. It's probably gonna be 2 hours.
2
there is a whole-
hours.
There's a whole group of people, including me, that watch long form reviews, and I follow tons of
That's
people
not
that do
even
reviews.
long form, bro.
This one
That's
guy,
like,
he happens to be
fucking-
my favorite, Joseph Anderson. You guys should go to YouTube and check him out. He's great. He did, and this is not, I'm not even kidding by this. He did a like a 6-hour video, part 1 of the Witcher review. He played the game like 5 times or something.
The Witcher's
like
like 300 hours long.
Yeah, I know. He's crazy. And then he read all the books, and he learned Polish to read the books in Polish so he could go ridiculous. And then do this review. And the review is like, I don't even know what the total time of it, but it's huge. But people do watch these. The video has almost 6 million views on it.
Okay,
like people want these.
I want to see
his
YouTube stats.
How long is Silent Hill 2 of a game?
The remake is 16 hours.
Okay, so a 16-hour game versus a game that's literally hundreds of hours.
It's all of
plus
his videos
like
are
a book
hours.
series, and he learned a different language.
I want to hear about the books. I want to hear about
that. Kind of makes sense that it'd be 6 hours for part 1.
I'm gonna take the time that I need to tell the story about why this game is how it is, especially because this game is very beloved. All right, and I'm gonna rip it to fucking shreds.
You're doing it for you.
I'm doing it for me.
Don't spoiler. Don't spoil.
I'm ruining it for me. But I need to be able to justify to all the people who are going to come at me. So I'm going to put the time in.
All right. You heard it here.
So
also,
it's going to be negative, everyone.
It's
going to be like, this game is fucking blows ass.
I've said multiple times on this podcast that I didn't like it. So it's not going to be like a big surprise.
Proof in the pudding?
You know, you're trying to convince angry gamers with extra content that you're right. They're like the fucking Alfred and Batman, okay, in Dark Knight, when he's like, these people cannot be bullied, reasoned with, whatever. Like some people just want to watch the world burn. This is who you're trying to convince. That subsection of people.
No, You got it backwards. I'm the one watching the world burn because I'm setting this trap for all these guys to come and get tilted.
Okay.
And they're gonna spend all the.
The
thing is, they're gonna get so mad. They're going to watch the entire video and all of our stats are going to go up.
Yeah, we got you there.
Or I'm going to find this little subsection of people that are like, actually agree with me.
You're like do you guys watch Key and Peele?
Yeah.
All? There's like that episode, the skit where the telemarketer calls him and like keeps hanging up on him before he can say anything. It gets him so fucking mad that he's like, I'm going to show this guy, I'm going to buy it so that you know, and it's like, yeah, it's the same kind of like reverse psychology tactics. It's really funny.
Right. Exactly. But so been playing that. I actually read the book too. They have a novelization of Silent Hill 2 from the original like designer. It's in Japanese, but they have a translated version. It's very short. It was only like 100-something pages. So I was like, oh, you know, okay, I'll read this real quick. So I'm like halfway through that. And then I've beaten the game twice. And then I downloaded the original. I found a copy of the original Silent Hill. And I've been playing through that. And that one's only about 8 hours long. It's much shorter.
Guys,
so
I
was
fucking
like,
hate this game, so I played it 2 times and read a book about it.
I needed to make sure that the points that I were making were valid. And so I'm doing my research. All right?
Yeah, definitely.
Alex is going to have like a fucking PowerPoint presentation and shit.
Dude, no, it's gonna be like the like detective board with all the strings attached to everything.
Like Alan Wake.
Listen. Yeah, I do actually use Alan Wake though in the game or in my review as like a contrast of like different types of storytelling.
So there's like a way better version.
Yeah, but been doing that. Playing Outer Wilds. I finally beat it actually.
Oh, you did? All right.
No,
I beat it. Fire.
So got to the eye. Right, or whatever. I don't want to spoil anything, but very cool. And I'm proud to say that I didn't look up anything in that game.
Wow. That's
Not
impressive.
a single thing online. I did everything in game. So I actually think I might go back and do their achievements. So like just to finish them off, do the platinum. I took a look at them. They're kind of funny. Some of the achievements are like try and escape the universe, or you know, like see how far out you can get, or like none of them actually have anything to do with like the story or the game. Like one of them is you have this like little practice drone in the beginning of the game that you can fly of the spaceship, and it's like land the spaceship on another planet, land the model spaceship on another planet, or like all these like really like ridiculous things. So I might go back and try and do those. Maybe I'll record those actually, and try and get some of them.
You gotta. I just posted a picture in Discord. You have to use that as like the cover for your Silent Hill review video.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, what is the verbal description
the always
of this?
it's always sunny.
Charlie Day and Always Sunny behind the screen, like behind the. You'll see it. You'll see it.
Where
It's
he's,
a good
he's
meme.
like where he's got his conspiracy of all the things
The
connected on the wall. You've
conspiracy
seen the
meme, the Charlie
Yeah,
Day
you've seen it.
conspiracy
Yeah.
meme.
Like
All
that's
right.
what we need
Well,
from
also,
you.
I'll put my face on his face and I'll do that.
before we move on, I also gotta say Alex loaned me Astrobot and I did start it,
Oh,
and it's fantastic. It is just such a fan. It feels like I'm literally playing like an old Nintendo Banjo-Kazooie Mario game. Like
mhm.
it is quite delightful. So I'll report back when I have more. But I've played like the first level or two.
I'm gonna buy
Yeah.
it when it's on like deep discount one day, or if they ever put it on like the subscription. Like if you have PlayStation Plus, you get to play it. I don't know if it already is, but
I would be surprised if it wasn't because it's kind of their like flagship.
I don't think it
Yeah.
is, but
sure it will
it's
be
just like-
eventually.
Yeah.
it takes so much advantage of the controller. Like no other game uses the DualSense controller
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, well,
that game does.
that's what I said when I won Game of the Year. I was like, I
No.
think it won because, like, the way it leverages PlayStation's technology and its controller is just so fucking insane that it just makes a gaming experience that like you just can't replicate. Like unless like
Yeah.
I mean, you can if like you're gonna leverage like the
I mean,
tech
it's a
like
pretty
that, but-
straightforward game, but like it takes all of those elements.
Yeah, like
and does
blowing
them really
on
well.
a fucking controller to like spin the fans and shit. It's just like
Yeah.
Or
like,
like
it's
even
just
just like the
crazy.
jet, like moving the controller as your guy like rides on the jet. Like it's just
Yeah.
very like
Mhm.
or the spring thing. You gotta like fucking do
Yeah.
the same shit.
Yeah.
Although I hate being the spring guy.
I actually turned off the motion part because I kept fucking it up because I like to lean back, like, and so it always thought I was tilted up, and so I had
You
to
haven't really beat the
disable-
game then.
I didn't disable it till like the very last planet, so I think I did.
Okay, I guess so.
cool.
So I did most of the game. Do that. Yep, there's that, and then Delta Force. That's the only. That's it.
The
So,
Force.
and then we have. I've been really looking forward to Monster Hunter Wilds, which comes out in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Shit game, shit life.
Also,
Shit game.
Avowed's coming out, and by the next time we have the we record the podcast, I think it was the 13th. Yeah,
Which one?
Nice.
Avowed. It's
When's
the
Ass
it takes
Creep come
place
out?
in the Pillars of Eternity universe,
That's the like first person RPG.
Skyrim
Game.
like kind of thing.
Yeah, that one's gonna be a Game Pass game, right? I think that's the.
Yeah. And
Yeah, that
on
one-
BattleNet, which is still fucking weird.
Yeah, no, I'm all confused on that.
BattleNet.
you guys
as
ever
soon
played-
as BattleNet? Go ahead.
It's like kind of a tangent, but have you guys played Citizen Sleeper? I've been hearing a lot. Like the second one just came out, and I've been hearing a lot of stuff about it, and it's just never what I played. I'm kind of curious now.
Yeah,
I
just
have
seeing
not.
it on Xbox, on the Xbox app, I was pretty curious, and I looked it up, and I haven't played it before. Looks kind of cyberpunky.
Yeah, I've been hearing nothing but good things, and you know, since I have Game Pass, I have it. So I was like, maybe after I finish Outer Wilds, I'll pick that one up. If Monster Hunter Wilds isn't the best game ever made, and I'm not sucked into that.
I don't know.
All right,
if I
well-
can.
Let's move on to our questions then. I'm
Cool.
so tired today. I'm like trying to stay awake. I'm so sorry. All right. Now let's hear from you. It's time for Ask Pixelated Realms, where we answer your questions and read your comments. If you'd like to join our conversation, head over to pixelatedrealms.org/ask. Let's dive in. So we got 2 questions today. One from Ralph. What are your thoughts on the PlayStation Network going down? Sony said it was to do maintenance, but having maintenance last more than
No.
24 hours is unheard of, and there was no prior announcements.
Shit
To indicate
happens.
there would be planned maintenance. They did come out and say it wasn't planned maintenance. They said it was like it was a bug. It was an outage. So they had a 24-hour outage, and
It was like longer than that. It was like 3 days or something.
no,
No,
it was
it
only
wasn't.
it was only a day.
Really?
It was
Okay,
only a
'cause
day.
all the jokes were like talking about like dad who had to spend time with his kids waking up to find out PlayStation Network is still down.
Yeah, so it was just a bug. I mean, that kind of stuff happens. I guess this is longer than normal for these kind of things because, you know, they happen every now and again, once in a blue moon. You know, Xbox has them. Everybody has them. I mean, keeping a service like that, I know. I mean, that's literally my job at work is to keep up a service we have at Workday. Like, it's hard. Things go wrong. Somebody commits a piece of code that doesn't work right and it blows everything up. the thing though that I found the most interesting is that people were reporting that like with PlayStation Network down, that some games, even games that weren't online, would lock you out because it was like a single player game, but it was like, hey, you're not online, and we require online, whatever to keep to play the game. So, you're basically, well, even on games, not all of them, but, some games that are single player. And we all knew that was a possibility. That's just the way that things work now. But I still think it's very interesting. So it's like, without it,
that's kind of, I was just saying, like, that's kind of like my one gripe with it. It's like, it's no big deal. Like, if you have an outage, like, that's understandable. But as soon as you tie, like, a game to having to connect to the PlayStation Network, even if it's a single player game, to play it, that's where I'm like, now you've just cut off my services to like all the games, and that sucks. So
I gotta feel obviously like part of that is due to like probably like trophies and different shit like that, right? That's probably tracked on the network.
Partially,
trophies are local, and then they upload after. But some things that like I'm trying to think of an example, but some games have like that are single player. Well, there's a couple of reasons I can think of. One is for DRM. Some companies are really like anal about that and are like, you have to be online, because if you're online in 2 locations and we see it, where you're cheating or you're something, like whatever. So they're anal about that. But another thing is that like they have like kind of like non-interactive multiplayer features. So like, for instance, like Dark Souls, is online, and it's not an online game, it's a single player game, but then you have like your messages and the shadows of other players and things that interact with your game. However, Dark Souls is, it's an example, but it's not the best because it does have an offline mode. Like, you can play that game offline, but some games don't implement that. Sometimes they, like, for whatever reason, they have to tie in with their service.
I wonder if a game like Ghost would be offline because it has the multiplayer, even though it's like on a really separate kind of thing.
Honestly, it just depends if you need to connect. It could honestly be a completely single player game, and if it has to connect to the 2K login, or the EA, like, it literally will just stop you from playing. So it's just built into the game, and it's so annoying.
That's the DRM
honestly.
Usually kind of stuff. Yeah, they're like,
it's also like companies just wanting to be able to track like how often you're playing, like what you're playing, for like marketing purposes and.
Yeah,
shit like that,
I'm just surprised, like, because in alternatives, and it probably has a little bit to do with kind of like laziness or not wanting to spend the money, because it's like you could, like, an alternative to that, and what a lot of companies do, I would say most companies, is they collect all their metrics locally on your thing, and then whenever they find a network connection, then it sends it up. So it's like, you can cache it locally, but it varies from game to game. There's obviously like valid use cases and ones that are just, I don't know, dumb, or just how it is. But
either way, it sucks. But yeah,
what else sucks?
Not a lot we can do about it.
My friend Morgan, working for the NFL and going to go to the fucking Super Bowl every year. I bet you.
My gosh,
did she send you a picture? She's like, "Suck it, bitch."
She posted, and I was like, "Oh, this is my yearly reminder that I hate you out of immense jealousy." And she's like, I post these just to torture you. God damn it! It's like she knows I'm like a huge sports fan, and every like Super Bowl, she's like posting all these photos of the Super Bowl, and I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I'm happy for her, though. She's like a director of DEI for the NFL, so she's a beast.
Cool. Next question, also from Ralph. Dustin's fired from Video Game Waifu. Anyone else have a Bay of the Week?
Well, I think he said it was for everybody.
Yeah, except for you.
That's fucking bullshit.
No, you can answer it, because honestly, I'm the worst person to ask this question. I don't know. I'm not like... I'm not in enough spheres to know what like a waifu of the week.
You watch anime?
I watch anime.
What
I'm
anime
not that.
I
don't watch it like every single day.
You watch One Piece? Who's your One Piece waifu?
That's an anime.
I already said Yamato.
But yeah, that's what you said last week, huh?
Yeah.
All right, I got one. I was playing BioShock a little bit this week because it was on sale, so I bought it. So I'll give Elizabeth a shout out as a great wife in Video Game Waifu. Probably one of the best in-game companions like ever in a game. One of my favorites.
If you haven't played that game, spoiler incoming. Pause it right now.
BioShock
Yeah, but
Infinite is obviously what I'm talking about.
Yeah, BioShock Infinite. Okay, I gave you my warning. But she's your damn daughter. Yeah, in the game.
Is she?
That's the
I don't
whole
remember.
reveal.
No,
That's the whole...
the reveal is that you're the
bad guy.
Yeah, you're the bad guy.
And she's the daughter.
Oh, you're right. Duh.
So
Yeah.
you gotta think
But it's
for your
all
character's
daughter. Multiple realms and something like that at the end. So who cares? But still,
All right.
no, she was a cool character.
My wife for
Time
this
travel.
week is Hackclaw from Delta Force, but also I want to give a huge shout out to Ralph for also being a huge Ruka fan from Rent a Girlfriend. Me and Ralph are Ruka Simps.
What could the plot of that be?
It's actually like a rom-com. It's actually really good. It's fun.
What's the girl from Dan to Dan? The main girl. She could be
Oh
my
my god,
waifu.
yes, she's great.
Renting Girlfriend
not
is
the-
actually a thing in Japan, by the way.
What's her name? Yeah, doesn't
Yeah.
surprise me. But man, what is her name?
Trying to remember the characters.
I don't know. That show's
Honestly,
weird.
that show is so wild. As if you've
Momo.
been following the podcast, you know we think that show is wild.
But I can't stop watching it. Like I'm gonna keep watching it as it releases new episodes, even though it makes no fucking sense. I just think the animation is like really good and the voice
It
acting
is
is
really
really
good.
good. And I mean, other than the, like the weird lewdness of it, but that's just kind of like what you get with anime. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, but let's move on to our next topic. But before we move on, we just want to say that we really appreciate everyone who follows and subscribes to us, especially on YouTube. We post new episodes every Tuesday on podcast services and on YouTube. You can also find the latest news and announcements on pixelatedrealms.org/Patreon. Okay, so our big topic though. Patreon.
Are we actually updating the Patreon? Who's on there? Who's doing it?
I'm on there all the time.
I've never.
I don't even have it
haven't-
installed.
I haven't posted. I just go on the website. I don't have an app or anything, but I post stuff on there occasionally. I mean, I'm not. We post. We don't post there like every week, but sometimes we'll post stuff or announcements. Like when I do the Silent Hill video, I'm gonna post all of my notes and stuff on there, so things like that. So we do. I mean, we're not as active as we probably should be, but we don't right now. Don't have a lot of people interacting with our stuff on there a lot. If we had more people interacting, I'd probably be on there more often. But all right, let's talk about GTA 6, the elephant in the room. All right, I think we've talked about this like a little bit in the past, but if Grand Theft Auto comes out and is like $100 or more, which the CEO of Rockstar has like said multiple times, like he thinks that the cost of the game should, equal the amount of time and effort put in, which I don't disagree with actually. But the thing is if they come out, the games have always been, like $59.99, even back when they like were first coming out.
Nintendo 64, 1996. Games were $60. And they did not change until PlayStation 5, and they went up to $70.
Went up to $70, which is only a $10 bump.
Like a good 20-plus year fucking run of $60.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous that we're like 70, now 90. Like, inflation is just going crazy, man.
Yeah, but the thing, well, I mean, we'll come back to that point, but I just want to say, like, this is going to, a lot of companies look to Rockstar to set the standards for things because, GTA is like arguably one of the most successful series ever made. Financially, popularity, like number of copies sold, like all that shit, like it's always in the top. So if they do it, is this opening the floodgate to letting other companies do it? And is that a bad thing?
Also,
Everyone's how much say yes.
Remind us how much they've spent making this particular game.
Like $1 billion?
Wasn't it $2 billion?
That's just dumb anyways.
That's just dumb. Wasn't it $2 billion or something insane? Like, I couldn't believe it. If you spend $2 billion making a game, sure, maybe you can justify it. But that doesn't just
came out 12 years
$2 billion.
ago.
How the hell do you? I mean, I'm just saying, fine, if they want to sell it for $80 or $90 or whatever the hell it is, and it's that good, then that's an argument. But that doesn't just mean you can now sell every open world game for $90. That's what's going to happen too.
Yeah. The example I gave before we jumped on, and some of you nerds might not understand this, but Shohei Ohtani for the Dodgers, like he got like huge $700 million 10-year contract, which is like unprecedented in sports at the time. And that was the thought process with him. It's like, dude, you're like arguably the greatest player ever. And so you're going to get this contract that like no one else is ever going to get, at least not anytime soon, because not only are you the best player ever, but you basically bring the whole Japanese fucking economy with you, which is like the Dodgers made over $125 million in new revenue off of Otani in the first year. You know, so like this guy just brings in an insane amount of revenue on top of being the best player in the world. So it's kind of the same thing with GTA, right? Like, will that be the argument of like, you know, GTA is one of the greatest franchises ever. It's being like more resources been putting into it than any other game ever. So is that enough of an excuse to say like that is an outlier?
Yeah.
By the way, before people start raging out at us about like, oh fuck, you games should still be $60. Like they shouldn't have went up to $70. If you look and do like what was $60 worth in 1987 compared to now, and this is telling me that we should be paying $118 for a game now. If we were looking at like inflation over the last 27
That's sickening,
years,
though.
you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, can you imagine paying $120 for a fucking game every time it came out?
I would
Every
actually.
game?
Are we all holding pens?
we
Because I'm holding 2 pens. So
I don't have a pen.
I got
chapstick.
Don't worry. I'm making that for you.
Now there's 4. There's too many pens.
I also have a Sekiro sword. So
I got a knife.
it's a envelope opener.
Yeah.
Anyway,
sorry.
back.
I mean, we talked about I would argue that we actually already pay that much a little bit. So think about that. $70 is the base game, but a lot of, you know, then you get the deluxe edition, then you get the whatever super deluxe edition, and that's $900 or $99, and then you get DLC packs and all this stuff that like on you that are clearly not worth the amount that you're going to pay for them. But that's how they get those prices up, because they need to make more money on these games than what we're paying the $70 for. So they have to find other ways to do it. And
you're also paying $10 a month just to be on the fucking network for PlayStation and Xbox.
Yeah.
You know?
And like, I mean, I'm not against a bit of a hike, because like if you think about the amount of time you put in for the hours, for the money that you get, like if you go to like Disneyland or something, right, you're paying like $120 just for the day. To like go in, let's say
$80.
Whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know,
every time I just put like another
$20
$20 on every time I go. Yeah,
it just keeps going up. It used to be like $60. That, you know, and that's for like 12 hours of fun, right? And if I'm paying $70, which is like half, and I'm getting, you know, 25 plus hours, then you know you're getting pretty good bang for your buck. And yeah, people are going to be mad and be like, oh, you're an apologist for these companies making money. It's like, I mean, listen, the layoffs are awful in the industry right now. Companies are struggling and developers just want to make really good games. And now, like, listen, I get it. Executives are making poor choices. Corporations suck. There's no way around that. But at the same time, like, we need to value these people's time and effort if we want these games to survive. Like, if a game, like we expect, for instance, a smaller game to charge less, right?
Right. That's what I was
Why
just thinking.
wouldn't we expect a larger game to charge more?
Well, I think that's the whole idea. That's what's changed, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It used to just be like you pay the same. And when we were like, you know, in the 2000s, like you would just pay for the game and it was $20, $30 or $40. It didn't really matter what size of game. Nowadays, because of the indie scene and Steam and these different stores, you know, now you do see this huge range, and you do find games that are more accurately priced for the scope of game that they're offering.
Well, before on like N64, like there was no such thing as AAA, right? Because it was just the games coming out on console, and some sucked, some are shorter, like some weren't as good as like GoldenEye or Mario, but the designation of like this is indie, this is AAA, that didn't exist because it was just the N64 titles. So it wasn't really until PC gaming really took over that I think we started seeing that.
There are only in total 388 N64 games. That's it. Of all
It actually
N64
feels like a
games.
lot, honestly.
I mean, that's a lot, but if you think about it, every single day on Steam, over 1,000 games are released.
Right. Yeah.
Over, you know, 3-ish
We're in a
times
new age.
number of games, right? So it's like they have to compete, and when Nintendo 64 is like you only had that little pool of games, so they have to charge you, they can charge you whatever they want. It's like, you
at the
can't leave
time
the
it was
park.
just
Yeah, honestly, not to like sound like a downer on creativity, but it's like probably too much. Like like we probably
The
should like.
number of games.
It's like altcoins at one point where they were just like fucking so many. You're like,
Everyone had made their
what
own.
is going on? Like, do we need to like if like to so. But I was gonna say earlier is like the whole
the market
idea
adjusts
of
for that kind
value.
of stuff on its own. You don't never have to set a limit on the creativity
Now,
because
yeah,
only
And
the
90%
market
of
just
it's junk.
right.
yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing with every I mean, as a musician, it's the same with everyone plays instruments, but like only the top 1% will go on to be professional, so it's just
Yeah, but not everyone's releasing a fucking album.
so a lot of people release albums. It's easy, dude. I could release an album
SoundCloud
tomorrow.
Right?
That's true.
Here's my
Yeah.
SoundCloud link. Here's my Spotify link.
That's
But
true.
So
Rebecca
Bieber got famous
Valentine
off of YouTube,
has a really good article called "I Could Make Fart Fart Booby Fart," and it's all about how like we have this influx of just trash games on things like Nintendo and PlayStation storefronts and Steam, and like how different companies handle the way that like to try and filter those out, because there's like tons of like hundreds of companies that their entire business model is to just make as many shit games as fast as possible
and get
just
people
have
to
a
buy them.
small handful of people buying them. Yeah. But it just floods the market. But we're not paying $70 for those games.
Yeah. Have you guys ever
you
bet
shouldn't
on
be
sports?
paying anything.
Yeah.
Random question. Have you guys ever bet on sports?
No.
So Tyler said yes. Alex now. Have you ever bet on anything like as a entertainment event, like where you didn't know the outcome?
Just in like a casino.
Or I we can just say like roulette or whatever. My point is like when I was working on Unicorn, like they are an esports betting platform, and some of our messaging was like the whole idea was like cost to value or return on investment. How much money you're spending for how much entertainment you're getting back. And it files into this conversation because people will go to the movies, and this is something we actually use a direct comparison. Someone will go to the movies, $18 or $20 for a ticket, spend like $15 on popcorn, $5 on a soda, or $8 on a soda. You can walk out of there $50 fucking dollars for one person in the movies, and no one blinks. Like it's like, oh yeah, that was expensive, but it's an expected cost. Like you're going to the movies, it's gonna be expensive. And you're getting 3 hours of entertainment. And you're spending $50, and like it's accepted socially, And our whole point was like, if you've ever bet on sports, it makes that experience of watching that game so fucking intense. Like even if it's for like minimal amounts of money, like you're like in knots the whole time, and it just to like a completely different level of entertainment that small bet is made, but it's so frowned upon.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same process here of like, we're in this weird like mindset where, oh, I spent $60 or $70, so I need to get X amount of hours. And my game needs to be at least 40 hours single player experience if I'm spending $70. But you'll go and spend $40 at the movies for 3 hours and not even fucking blink an eye, or bat an eye, whatever. So it's just weird, I mean, even like like I'll go somewhere and I will spend fucking $200 on a booby statue, okay, without even thinking about it. But then
You don't even think about it?
But I'll go to McDonald's and I'm like, I'm not spending $4 on French fries. You're out of your fucking mind.
That's funny because I would definitely I'll go to McDonald's and spend $40 and not even think about it, and then I would never buy a statue.
well, like my point is like something super cheap that I don't think is a good value. Even if it's only a few bucks, I'll be like, no, I'm not. That's a fucking terrible value.
Yeah, but that's like, right, that depends on the value to the person, right? That's
of
course,
personal
value, right?
Exactly, So it's like, it's just interesting how we all weigh our decisions in terms of like what we think our money is worth. But I definitely think the vast majority of like video games we buy that are especially deemed AAA, like $70 for a 25, 30 hour experience is money super well spent, especially if you enjoy it.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, that's my general thought. However, I'm now an adult and I know like when I was a kid, you could only get like games once or twice, a couple times a year, you know. So like I do feel bad for like the kids and younger generation that, you know, are more limited by this, you know, who might not be able to experience as many games.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
way worse for us because our parents are buying games at $60 to the equivalent of 120 now. So think about that fucking cost. Like, that
Yeah,
our
but it was
parents are
$60
shelling
for
out,
20 years, I thought.
you know. But my point is, like, $60 was like went way further in 1997 than it did now. You know, you were going to McDonald's and spending like $3.50 on a Big Mac meal in 97.
Yeah.
Yeah, I spent $60 on a video game, and then I go spend $5 on a Big Mac meal. Now it's like
Yeah, $12 for a Big Mac.
Dude, like, yeah, $12, $13 for a Big Mac.
You know, so you start thinking about it that way. It's like, yeah, the fact that video games have somehow, they go at it two ways. Either video games right now are a great value, or we are paying way too fucking much. Our parents are paying getting ripped the fuck off in 1997.
I mean, that's kind of like, I would say the value of a video, in some ways, it's gone down because there's so many more video games out there, right? Compared to back then. Now there's thousands of producers of video games. Back then it was dozens.
Yeah, and you could say that could also affect cost, right? And there's such a limited amount of what's available, you can kind of charge more because the
Supply
options are
and
so limited.
demand.
Where now you have to price to stay down because there's so many options, especially at lower price points, for games like indies and things like that, or free to play games. So people really have to feel like, hey, if I'm going to go spend $70 on this, when I could, if I'm going to go spend $70 on a new Battlefield,
It better be
or
worth
do
it.
I just want to play fucking Delta Force for free? You
Yeah.
know,
I'll play Fortnite for 500 hours for free, you know?
yeah, so
But spend $400 on skins.
Well, you don't have to, though. Not everyone's going to do
Over time.
that, you know?
No,
There's
I
a
know.
lot of League of Legends. You could literally play League of Legends for 20 years, and there's plenty of people who do and never spend $1, you know?
I've
It's a
spent
perfectly
very little
enjoyable
money on
game.
League.
I've
maybe
spent-
bought like 3 or 4 skins in the lifetime of I've played League. And I haven't played League very much the last 10 years, but for a good 5 years, I played pretty consistently and sucked, but
It's a hard
I
game.
spent very little money. It actually
Yeah.
blows my mind how many people I talk to, like, oh yeah, I'm gold. Yeah, I'm plat 4. And I'm like, dude, I can never, I got out of fucking bronze once. I got stuck in silver 5. I'm fucking, but you know what?
Yeah, but they've
League
been
is
playing it
also
for 10 years.
League also trends towards if you can carry in a game. You know, if you're a attacking character and you can carry a game, you're going to climb way faster. I never could. I just played support, so it was really difficult. So,
Yeah, you gotta have a good
so-
team. You can only carry people, you can only support people if they're already at a good level. You can't carry them. But
Yeah,
I mean, what I would hate to see, I think it's fair if GTA came out, spent $2 billion on making a really good game, and
better be good.
hopefully it's good.
Yeah.
And then charge $100 for it, or $80 or whatever they end up, whatever. But what I would hate to see is that other companies think now that their shit doesn't
Right,
stink,
that's what we're
and tries to
worried
do the
about.
same thing, and then try and charge that same amount. But I actually think that'll just bite those companies in the ass, because Rockstar is one thing.
Rockstars.
that's not true,
they're
though. It's not true.
Well, if Monster Hunter Wilds came out at $100 base, I think just people wouldn't buy
Maybe
it.
Monster Hunter, but are you really going to tell me that you could sit here and say GTA
Elder Scrolls
is
6.
more worthy than fucking Witcher 4? Or
No, but I could see that. So I'm saying, I could see some games being that much.
or CD Projekt Red's next title, whatever that might be, or
Right.
that fucking crazy shit that we saw from Naughty Dog. There's other studios that are on the level that
I think it's
people
gonna be
could
$80
absolutely
bucks.
justify it.
I'm going to put it down right now. $80 for the standard edition.
Yeah, because if
could see
I'm
it.
CD Projekt Red and I come out with my next game, there's no way I'm gonna sit here and say, oh,
Dude,
well,
I would-
GTA is on a different level than us, so that's
I would
why
pay
it's
anything
okay.
for CD Projekt Red game. They
You
could
know?
charge $150
Yeah.
bucks. I would
I
still
mean-
pay. I would
But-
pay.
There are obviously a handful
have
of
to
premier
earn it.
studios. Same thing with Sony Santa Monica.
Yeah,
the next
they
God of
could
War,
charge me anything.
You know,
I would
But
still play
those
that game.
those companies have earned it, right? And I do feel once you've earned the trust of the player, that you can get away with stuff like that.
That's like 4
And-
companies. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of
those are the
companies that
heavy
do
hitters.
this.
I mean,
Yeah.
Bethesda, same thing. Bethesda does all.
They don't have that level of trust anymore for me.
No,
Bethesda
I mean,
doesn't.
I wouldn't
Bethesda
even say
cannot.
it's
But
Elder
there's some that are
Scrolls-
studios and there's some that are franchises.
Fallout 4, dude. No, I don't know. They've
They
lost it
haven't
for me.
made a good game in years.
Blizzard
in
used
like
to
a
be on that
decade.
list. It's no longer on that list. Like, for me, it's like CD Projekt Red, Larian Studios, who was the one we were just talking about?
Remedy, Naughty Dog,
Rockstar,
Santa
Sony,
Monica
Santa Monica.
Studio,
Santa Monica
I don't
Rockstar.
actually know
Studios.
who makes Witcher.
Obsidian, maybe, depending on their game.
No, see, Obsidian could be hit or miss. So it's hard.
Like I could see. I mean, there's a lot of like, but you have to make it into that AAA studio territory, and so it's like a AAA game, like a real AAA game. I could see costing more like that. But what I would really hate to see, and I know it's going to happen,
the next Call of Duty come out at 80. Like, why wouldn't it? Like,
well,
if the other ones are,
because it's
No,
not
it's on-
$2
because
billion
it's on Game Pass.
worth of.
700 million, which I guarantee you is fucking more than the vast majority of games. 700 million is
It's not
still
2
a huge
billion.
amount.
But what I'm actually less worried about companies trying to do that, and what I'm worried about is this getting increased and then paying $100 for a game, and then on top of that, you have your battle pass, you have your expansion packs, you have all this shit, and it's
Let's also not forget though. Okay, sorry, go ahead. Finish with that.
I mean, that was mostly it, right? Like, they're gonna try and say, hey, we're gonna try our old tricks and some new ones, as opposed to just saying, hey, we're just changing the game.
But remember, GTA 5 came out 12 years ago. Okay, so that means that GTA 6 arguably been in development for 12 years, and that's $2 billion.
Well,
how long do you think
probably
Black Ops 6?
longer.
Well,
how long do you think
Red Dead
realistically
Redemption
Black
2
Ops
was in there.
6?
2 years.
Yeah, but they're fucking huge. Like, they have more than one team.
Yeah, but they focus mostly on one at a time. They probably have pre-production on one and then the other, but they try and do like the majority of work all in one game.
Let's see, Red Dead Redemption 2 release date, 2018. So that's still 7 years.
Yeah, and I'm sure
Black
they were
Ops
doing work
probably like
before that.
3 or 4, maybe. Black Ops 6. So 700 million in 3 years versus 2 billion and somewhere between 7 to 12 years. You start looking at it that way, it doesn't look as crazy to think that the Activision
Like
could
the
charge
per year,
more.
They were just
that money's spread out way more over time. But then you see like Skull and Bones, it's like $120 because it took like 10 years.
and they're like, please, oh God,
Star
please buy
Citizen,
this.
$20,000.
What is the most expensive Star Citizen? Let's see, ship most expensive. Let's see. The most expensive ship is the A2 Hercules. Let's see how much this is. My God. Guess. What do you think this expensive ship costs?
$10,000.
More.
20,000.
More.
50,000.
A little less.
40,000.
$1,000 for their top whatever fucking ship. That is disgusting. They should be in jail.
That, right? Like,
There's probably a group of
Where's
people
the
who
YouTube
pulled
video?
money together. This is it's like this massive battleship is huge. I see. This is from 2023.
$1,000. You could feed a lot of people with that money.
You know, the other thing you also have to think about with price. Okay, it can't be so ridiculous. Like it can't be $100. It just can't. Because
it's a bundle. I'm sorry.
I think we might see like 85. I'd be surprised if it's more than 85, because there is a certain amount you'll hit. Like if it's $100, the casual gamer who might just be like, oh yeah, I wouldn't mind playing GTA, is that enough to turn them away? So how much money will you lose because you turn away the non-hardcore GTA fans because they don't want to spend that much, or they say, I'm going to wait for it to go on sale.
But they don't. But they want the hardcore people because those are the people that spend money.
No, but my point is, are you going to sell 15 million to hardcore players at 100 versus selling 25 million copies at $80 because you're bringing in more casual people? So like that's also an equation that they're probably having internally. Like if we charge this much, what's the player drop off going to be from sales versus if we charge less, are we going to make more money because more people buy it because it's more in line with like standard pricing? So it's another, like, I'm sure they have some fucking team of mathematicians just working on that shit by itself, trying to figure it out. But yeah, I'll be surprised if it's more than 85, honestly. If it's the base game's $100. The only other thing I could see is like them doing something where like base game is like 70 and then
multiplayer.
you want to do like online multiplayer or something, it's like an extra $30 or something like that, because a lot of people actually don't probably give a shit about doing the online. They just want to play like the base game and like drive around and like fuck hookers and run from cops, That's all I ever do. I just like to get in police chases. I just like try to get my rating to like 4 stars and like just see how
that's
long
like
I can not die.
90% of the game though. Like just getting to as many stars as you can, then
Yeah,
getting
real
chased
quick,
by the
I
cops.
did.
I want to correct myself. The most expensive ship right now is unavailable for purchase, but is $3,000. The most expensive one that you can buy is $750. But you can buy this bundle that's almost $50,000.
Difference.
That is a big difference.
I just clicked on some article and it was talking about it. Okay. Anyway, sorry. Go back to run
fake
from
news.
the cops.
But yeah, that's all I ever done. I've never even beat a single player campaign in any GTA game.
I don't think I have either.
Somebody will
because I
have
always
it
just
with
get
a friend, and I'm just
do.
like, oh, I'm just gonna drive around. I'm gonna like go get like a fucking Yakuza, a car, and I'm gonna go drive around and run people over and pick up hookers and try to like escape from the military. Like that was my
go get a jet
and listen to the hopefully Tony interview on the talk show. Because those are always the best when I interview the mafia guys. So it's like, oh, my mom, Tony. It's like, oh, so your name's Tony. It's like, hey, who are you? How do you know
How
who I
do
am?
you know that?
It's like, like whoever does her radio on the GTA game is like fucking amazing. I hope it's the same person.
legendary.
Yeah. I mean, we know it's going to be good. We know it's going to make a shit ton of money, and we know people are going to buy it no matter what. I mean,
we'll just have to wait and see.
We'll have to wait and see. Is there any
the same people who buy
GTA
for $100 are the same people who waste like $100,000 on Cybertrucks. They're just simping up. They're simping up for that company, dude.
I don't know if it's the same circle, but
the same circle, the same mindset though.
Oh, same mindset.
Can do no wrong.
But what if you couldn't get it any other way? You'd still buy it.
Dude, there's going to be a Cybertruck in GTA.
There's too much competition.
Oh my God, you're so right. There's going to be like some dude. I wouldn't.
Where you blow it up or something.
I'm going to call it now. There's going to be an Elon Musk style person in GTA.
I bet you there will.
I bet you could kill him.
Or you have to kill him. Remember the cell phone thing in GTA 5? You basically killed Mark Zuckerberg, right? Or Steve Jobs or something like that.
In one of the Watch Dogs games, you infiltrate Ubisoft and like take out their CEO or something.
That's funny.
Or like hack his computer. Well, I think we're going to close it up there. Thank you all for listening. Don't forget to follow or subscribe to be notified when we post new episodes. We post new episodes every Tuesday on podcast services and YouTube. Till next time. See ya.